Yo, what's good? Sorry about that. This is your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again. Always with another one. Sorry about that. I had to take down my little screen there. But you know what I'm saying? Listen, look here. Yes, this is something that's coming back up from decades ago. You know, we have Susan Smith. And I know a lot of you new agers out there, you don't remember Susan Smith because you know definitely if you was born after 2000 and you won't remember her and things like that. It definitely would not. Susan Smith was a lady who purposely drowned her kids in a river back in 1994. And I know all my old heads. This is for all my old heads out there. You know, definitely early millennials and X's things, Xers, things like that. You know, we remember this. This happened in 1994. You know, and yes, in 1994, I was a young man, but I still was old enough to remember things like this going on in the news because this was huge news. This was huge news. This mother was on the TV. She was crying. She was, this is the beginning of women being able to shed tears on camera and get sympathy. This was the true beginning of this. This is, real talk. And come to find out, she actually had, deleted her own children. And it was very big news back in the early 90s and things like that. This was huge. This was a huge problem back then. And so she's up for parole now, and hey, it is what it is out here. It is what it is. Yes. Susan Smith is up for parole now. And yes, we have to bring these types of things back up because they do tie into the modern day thinking of a lot of women that do, delete their children and stuff like that. A lot of women since then have legally been able to delete their children through, parent planhood and things like that. It all coincides and stuff like that. She went out the way at that point to do certain things like that. It's crazy. It is crazy the mindset that she was in and things like that. And her husband was on her side. And of course, at first, which of course would be a given, because she came out with this story about the children were kidnapped and things like that. They pleaded for the children to be returned. Definitely, it is what it is, man. Listen, look, we're about to go here now. And we're about to put these quarters, nickels, and dimes in on this time. And yes, let's do this.
I just can't express it enough that we just got to get them home. That's just where they belong with their mama and daddy. I want to say to my babies that your mama loves you so much.
Yes, this is the 90s here. This is the 90s. So this is the footage from the 90s when they were actually on a media broadcast, stuff like that. Of course, I had to go back and get the actual footage so y'all could see the depth of what she was doing. And of course, as we could clearly see, there's no damn tears there. This was way back in the day when we didn't understand that women getting on camera, fake crying and shit was actually fucking fake crying.
So what the French toast is gonna think about?
Okay. So yes, that's what that was and stuff. And she got on national TV at that time. The news, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was none of this stuff that we're dealing with right now. And she got on national TV, and it went nationwide about the fact that her children got kidnapped. And as you can see, her husband was right there standing beside her like he was supposed to now. He was supposed to. I'm not knocking him for doing that because as a father, as a husband, he was supposed to. And yes, he's still beside his wife. I get that. you know, and it is what it is. So yeah, he stood beside her. She was on that camera, fake crying, because of course there was no tears that ever got dropped off those little pale ass cheeks and shit, you know. And it is what it is here. So yeah, man, listen, look, we're about to dive off into this even more. So like I just said, you know what I'm saying, she's up for parole, and it's come to a time now, of course, you know, time has went on. It's been a few decades that, you know, this tragedy had went on when she drowned her own children and things like that. So now we're at this point right here, and we're going to go here now, and we're going to see this, and we're going to check this out. She's up for parole. Should she have parole, or should she have been spending the rest of her life in a fucking prison cell? Like, this is what we're going to find out.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
You know, this is where we're going to go. Let's go here now. Let's check this out. Of course, quarters, nickels, and dimes is going to be put in at all times. All right.
This morning, we're shining a spotlight on the case of Susan Smith. She was convicted back in 1995 for the murders of her 2 young boys. And next year, the murder mom is up for parole, but her family is not offering much support, saying they're not interested in helping her. And her ex-husband, David, says he plans to file an affidavit urging the parole board to keep her locked up. Wow, she's not getting support from her family, the ones that used to love.
Okay, let's go here now. Let's check this out real quick. From reading this, former child killer to to Pookie, you know, Susan Smith exchanges filthy messages with multiple admirers. Oh my, what? Yo. Hey. So you mean to tell me that this woman, of course, you know, this woman has been getting men writing her letters in prison all these years and stuff like that, you know, and this is how sick we are in society. Just like it's vice versa. We do have men that write women in prison, just like, you know, women write men in prison. And I did a, you know, of course, on TikTok, there was a video going around about men, about free men losing to men in prison. You know, the women are gravitating to, you know, men in prison and stuff like that. And of course, we see this now. It's also men out here that like these types of dangerous, twisted minded women. You have to think about this. And also you have to think about how twisted the men are that are willing to write and admire a woman like this. You have to think about the mindset of the individuals that we walk around with in the free world every damn day out here. Seriously. If that doesn't make you want to look at people that are actually free walking around here every day in a certain type of light, I don't know what will, because you have men out here that are writing women like this in prison for doing such heinous crime. It's like, you know, she deleted her own blood. She deleted her own children. How can you actually, you know, accept the mindset of a individual like that? You know, whether it's vice versa, man or woman, it doesn't matter. How can you accept that type of mindset from an individual like that? So, okay, let's keep going here.
Love her? Well, she's got lots of folks that love her right now. She's been corresponding with about a half a dozen suitors. One man calling Smith, "Dearest Pookie," sent this letter in August. "Been thinking of you and miss you so much. Hoping I can do something for you soon. Anyways, feels like it's been so long since we talked." Later concluding, "Love you so much, it hurts. Your Pookie." Another man allegedly offered Smith a place to live if she is indeed granted parole. Let's break it down with a guy that knows this case.
Are you kidding me?
So what the French toast is there to think about?
So you have men out here that's been writing this woman and telling her she automatically has a place to live. if she they're giving her the diva choice, to choose them. The men are writing her in prison. She's been locked up for some decades now. She's been locked up for decades, since 1995, 96. She's been locked up a long ass time out here, seriously. And they're giving us the messages that men have been writing her, saying that yes, you can come live with me. Yes, and I can't even imagine how much money that she's been getting on her books all these years. I mean, wow, man. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? And this woman did she did one of the most heinous things that you can do. Man, come on.
Case very well. The man who prosecuted Susan Smith, Tommy Pope, with us. Good morning, sir. Let's start with her chances at parole. Your thoughts?
I always said I'd never get a job in Vegas handicapping because it's hard to know. If you look at her behavior in prison, the highlight or the low light was, having sex with the guard. She's had some drug infractions and different things. So I think the notoriety of her case, coupled with the heinous nature, she probably doesn't make it next time, which will be a year from now. She'll be eligible in 2024. But stranger things have happened. I mean, watching court, what you think?
Okay, and this is old. I found another video, but it was very long, so I couldn't. I wasn't going to be able to do that because it was very long. But which the other video was a little bit more current. It was like a month ago. This was like a few months back. The thing of it is that, well, more than a few months, but yeah, though, she's up for parole right now in 2024. This is 2024. She's up for parole right now. So yes, here we go.
Think a jury will do what you think the parole board will do. You're never quite sure.
Absolutely. So let's talk about those infractions and to what extent they'll come in to the case. She had the relations with the guard and was also they had a drug possession incident, disciplined in a couple times, but
yeah, she's been very busy in prison out here. She's been very busy.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Smith's prison, you know what I'm saying, in the early 2000s, she was engaged in sexual activity with two correctional officers. Oh my God, she getting a train gang run on her, Hey. Oh yeah, she getting a train gang run on her up in that joint. You know what I'm saying? Multiple incidents of drug possession. Oh my goodness, wow. Hey, listen, look, of course, if she had got hold of some substances like that, they had to been brought in from the outside. So yeah, she was able to manipulate somebody. Somebody was trying to hit that poo nanny. For real though, somebody was trying to hit that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Also, discipline in April 2009, April 2010, and in April 2012. So yeah, she was showing her ass up in there, while she was locked up and stuff like that. I mean, literally, she really was, hey. Not only just probably her mouth was going sideways, she was actually literally showing her ass up in that motherfucker. Like, hey.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Literally. All right, here we go.
She's been in a while. To what extent is this behavior, I guess, pull out the sex with the guard part, but how much of that is, goes into the decision-making process? And I get, it's tough. Every parole board is different, et cetera.
Sure. I think that you know, it's a factor. I mean, you hate to say it, but, you know, probably in prison wise, there's a lot worse infractions, you know what I mean? Assaulting another inmate, things of that nature. You don't see that. But I think, too, the parole board will be taking in the things that you let off with, David Smith's information. You know, they'll hear from the prosecutor, probably Kevin Brackett that tried the case with me, the solicitor now. You know, they very well may solicit a letter from me and my standard.
So this is what she looked like today. Y'all cats out there trying to hit. She up for parole now. She already got it seems like from what they telling us now, she got a lot of men out there writing her and stuff like that. So she, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she got some suitors, quote unquote, you know, some men out there trying to get with that poo nanny. You know what I'm saying? They trying to figure out what that old cat do. They trying to figure out what that old cat do. You know what I'm saying? She got the gray hairs, you know what I'm saying, doing her thing. All right. Man, this is ridiculous right here. Let's keep going.
It is, you know, I believe in truth in sentencing, that life should mean life. The jury thought she got life. That was what they, you know, were told in the courtroom, but that, you know, they did not know she was eligible for parole. And so my contact with them will be something to that extent, you know, that the sentence ought to mean what it says.
What do you mean? Why do you think she has so many suitors out there? It's common. We see it a lot with someone, a high-profile defendant has people who fall for them for whatever reason. Anything about her that stands out?
You know, even back during the case, if you recall the days when we were searching for the carjacker and she was spending time with the SLED agents, you know, the state police officers, and they would pick her up, you know, to go take the polygraph, for example. She was flirty with them. I think she's got an ability to kind of be flirty, for lack of a better term, you know, and I think that's what happened probably with the guard, you know, from what I've read. I remember one time with a SLED agent, you know, the kids are in the lake, she's going to take a polygraph, and she starts saying, I wish you and I were driving to the beach instead of, you know, driving to do this. It's such a beautiful day. And so she's always.
Wow. This is inside information that we were not privy to decades ago, is what he's saying. This is the prosecutor of Susan Smith saying, you know, allegedly the things that she was saying back decades ago. Before the, you know, and I'm talking to my old heads right now, you know what I'm saying, same age, you know what I'm saying, because I'm 41. So, you know, if y'all are at my age range and older, y'all remember this case because this was national news. This was serious back then. And yeah, so, you know, she's had suitors and stuff like that. It's like, wow. It's wow, man. This is, man, come on now. What man in his right mind? And you have to think about the type of men that have been writing her all these years, that have been reaching out to her. You have to think about the mindset of those type of men that will reach out to a woman like that would do that type of shit to her fucking legacy. Like, you know.
What the French toast is there to think about?
You can't make this shit up. Kind of had that ability with men, and I think she's just playing on that.
She's a siren.
Drawing them onto the rocks.
Yes. One of her suitors said publicly to the messenger, said that I don't know why my messages were made public. I just find her interesting and misunderstood. She's not what you think she is. She's a good person who did something terrible when she was young and not in her right mind. People can change. I mean, that's pretty accurate with most. I mean, a lot of the folks in our prisons are inherently good people that did insanely horrible things, and it doesn't necessarily define their whole life.
Hold on here.
In the morning.
You ain't right, man.
Oh, I'm right. You'll see.
Hold on. Shit. Hold on here now. Yeah. You moving a little weight, and you know what I'm saying, in drug activity, that's one thing, or DV or something like that, or things like that. But when you actively go out of your way to purposely drive your children into a lake, locked up in a car to where they have no safety, they can't escape, and things like that, and we're going to sit here and justify the fact that this woman drove these innocent children into a lake. And then we're going to backtrack. Well, she was young and everybody changes and this and that. Now, don't get me wrong. I get the fact that, people do change over time and stuff like that. And yes, this has been decades ago. She has had time to reflect on a lot of stuff and maybe, move a certain type of way. Of course, people do change. Yes. But you have to think about the gravity of the crime. I'm not worried about the fact that, whatever mind state that she was in, she took innocent lives, her own innocent lives, her own blood, her own people. She went against her own bloodline. And that matters. And these are the things that we cannot escape. We cannot allow the illusion of that, the fact that, yeah, people do change and stuff like that. I get it, but what do we do with that in the long term? Because she still did this heinous crime, and she's still who she is. I mean, I want to advocate for people that can change. And of course, if people truly change and things like that from their heinous crimes, I get it, because it is possible. But it's hard to really state that she's changed because she's been locked up for so long and she hadn't been in the free world, so it's like, how can we really judge her because she's not on the outside with us? So who knows what she's really capable of doing outside of that confinement, because she's been very restricted for decades now. So who knows, has she really changed when she get outside of prison? Will she actually conduct herself in a different way? Is she still in that mindset? Who knows this? You know what I'm saying? People, especially women, they can play these games. Let's keep going.
Correct.
I think that's accurate. I think what that guy said is accurate. If we're gonna, at least based on my faith, we're sure all seeking forgiveness for something and grace for something. So I think people can change, and if these guys make that choice and want to befriend her, I don't think that's inaccurate. The first thing we always think. I was thinking of the case you had the other week. On the death where the guys, I guess, went back to prison in Peru, and he's got a wife and kid down there, but he's in prison. And, so some people are drawn to that. I don't know whether it's the spotlight or the intrigue, or, maybe they are wired to help those that they feel like have not gotten a fair shake. But I remember back early, Susan had kind of a Facebook page or something like that, and she had suitors back then too.
Yeah, Natalie Holloway case and Johan Vandersloot you're referring to.
That was it.
It's amazing. So let's say she does, achieve her goal and get out on parole, knowing what you know about her. Is this someone that you would feel comfortable being amongst us?
Some people can get out and go on and live their life. Some people have become institutionalized. I think she made a horrible, horrible choice and committed a heinous crime. And, ultimately I guess now at this point, the parole board and the jury have decided, what that punishment should be. And so I probably would not have her over to my house, nor would she probably want me to come over to hers. So.
Right. I mean, right. I wouldn't, hey, yeah, I'm not finna have her over for Thanksgiving dinner and shit. And definitely as a man, I wouldn't, at this age she at now, I guarantee she can't have no more children. But you know what I'm saying? It's the fact of the matter that at the end of the day, she done such a heinous crime and stuff. And, even her ex-husband and stuff is advocating for her to stay in prison. And I get that from him. Definitely. I really do. I get that from him, that the fact that, she actually, she took something from him that he could never get back. And, the precious moments of dealing with those babies and things like that. And, it's a lot to this case, and yes, this is what's going on here. So, she up for the factor. It seems like she got plenty of men in her JPay and things like that. And it's like, man, my problem here is how sick are we as men out here? How woman hungry are we as men out here for women? Are we at a point to where now we know that, are we at a point as men that we will accept we'll accept women that actually will delete children and things like that, for our own personal lust and shit? Like, is that where we at?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Is that where we at as men? I just don't get it. Like,
that's about all I could say about that.
It makes sense. In all the cases that you've prosecuted, does this one stand out? Is this one that obviously, you had the notoriety of it, so inherently it's going to be, always brought up like we're doing today. But does this one, is it up there in terms of things you think about?
Well, I actually don't. I say tongue in cheek. I remember, one time, because I went on, had other cases, other careers, other people on death row. But I remember, every time something would happen with Susan Smith, people would call me and go, well, I heard she was pregnant. And so my running joke was, she may be, but I didn't do it, but so we've had, I'll always be the Susan Smith prosecutor, for better or worse. For me, the case was a loss. I was seeking the death penalty because I felt strongly if David Smith had committed it, that people would want death. If the
What did he just say? Hold on. What did he just say? And this is what men face every day. This is the thought process about men right here. The prosecutor of Susan Smith Suzanne Smith just broke this down. This is the thought process that they think about men every day right here. Hold on. What's the thought process? Here we go.
Smith prosecutor, for better or worse. For me, the case was a loss. I was seeking the death penalty because I felt strongly if David Smith had committed it, that people would want death.
People would want death if the father had a motherfucker dead. Right, come on.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Come on.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make this up. The prosecutor of Susan Smith even said himself that if the father had done this heinous crime, the death penalty would have been on the table, which it was for her. But at the end of the day, though, she escaped it, but they would have stuck the death penalty to the father.
You'll thank me in the morning.
You ain't right, man.
Oh, I'm right. You'll see.
Oh my goodness. But even the prosecutor said what is normally attached to men when men do heinous crimes. He clearly said that yes, if the father of these children would have done the same thing that Susan Smith did, they would have kept him in prison. Not only that, they would have gave him the ultimate death penalty, which the prosecutor was fighting for her. It got dismissed, in a different way. And the father would have been facing the death penalty. Man, what are we doing out here? But okay, though. Yeah, we don't want to, for some reason, out the way reason, collectively as a society, we have this empathy and sympathy for women that do such heinous crimes like this, instead of doing the right thing and letting them see justice the way that they're supposed to see it. Just like everybody else. Just like everybody else sees the same justice, just like a man would see what we think collectively as a group of society to see justice for such a crime like this. We know good and damn well that, if their father had done this, no, he would never be out of prison. And yeah, he would have faced the death penalty, and he probably would have gotten the death penalty, and the death penalty would have applied. We would have been executing, the father of these children, probably decades ago. It probably wouldn't have went on this long. So, let's just keep this 100 out here, And I'm not finna sit around here and play all these dingbat ass games and allow people to think that if the tables were turned, that the outcome would be the same as what she's facing right now. She up for parole. She got suitors out here. Men is like, well, you can come stay with me and things like that. And oh, well, people change and stuff like that. I wonder if, everybody would feel the same way if the tables were on the other side. Well, did he change? Did the father thought process change after drowning his kids in the river for no damn reason? My bad. Yeah. But it is what it is, though, man. Hey, shout out to all my subscribers out there. Bad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure that you ring that bell, that you'll be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line. Mad love to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Please comment. My link to my X, TikTok, and my email are down below. And I always show the bottom line news some love. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.
Who responsible for all these hoes in the street? You?
God, you can't make this shit up.
We'll talk about that some other time.
Now I want to talk about it now. See,
Fred,
another reason
Fred, I said we'll talk about that some other time.
You don't tell me what I can talk about. You don't tell me what I can talk about in my own house.
Don't you point your finger at my nose, Fred Sanford.
I'll point my finger at your nose and I'll point my foot somewhere else.